Okay, we're just going to go over that one lick that seems to weed out, so far that I've seen, 100% of all trumpet players, except yours truly, on Charlie Parker's confirmation. In fact, I was even listening to Bobby SHEW do it, and he does the first part. And of course, what we're really talking about is Charlie Parker's complete solo on his original. And so, what most people will play would be what's considered the head, which would be the first page. That's where it would end on. Well, it has that hard part that a lot of people. This weeds out a lot of people too. Well, that weeds out a lot of trumpet players, but some of them have still got that in their playing, in their recording, their performance. And I actually love Bobby SHEW's jazz ad lib on confirmation. I mean, it's pretty badass. I really like it a lot. But he actually does that part. He's doing it with another saxophone. But I mean, man, just to show that he had the chops, he should have gone through the entire Parker solo and then started ad libbing. And nobody's done that. But the reason is because most people can't do it. And I'm talking about most pros. I'm not talking about most average, advanced, semi-pro, whatever. I'm talking about most pro jazz trumpet players that only do jazz. They can't do it. I can do it. And I'm going to show you how you can work it up. So it comes on the, I guess, the refrain, if you will. With Charlie Parker solo, it would be like around measure 33, where he's going into the second part of it. Okay, so there's a hard part that comes up around measure 41, 42. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the part that weeds out most people, especially when you're playing it at 208 on the metronome. In fact, was that at 208? Pretty close. When I do something like that fast, I like to take it in cut time, so I'll put it down to 104. That's 104, which is pretty much flying along. Got it. Okay, so that's the part that weeds out everybody else, mainly trumpet players. Now, I haven't really dug into sax players. There's got to be some sax players that are able to do it, but so far, 0% of trumpet players, besides yours truly, have not recorded doing that. And so, anyway, I want to teach you how to do that if you really want to learn how to do it. So you have to slow it down, of course. And we're looking at, I guess it would be measure 42. If you have Charlie Parker's transcription, it would be around measure 42. And to slow it down, he comes into it like this. Let's slow it down. In fact, we're going to take it in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you have to get it down slow first. And if that's too fast, you can even go slower. Let's see if we can go a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Bang the valves down hard. Again. 1, 2, slow, go 1. Do it a couple times slow the entirety, and then you have to break it apart. Sometimes I like to work from backwards to the front. So the last measure of that would be. That would be measure 44. So then you can put the metronome on. Speed it up. Speed it up. Faster. Faster. And then the original tempo, if I go back into cut time with 104, which would be 208 Charlie Parker speed. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's how you got to work it up. But then after that, you need to piece it together. So what comes before that? You could take the 2 beats before that, starting on the F sharp, or and then do the same sequence. We're in 4/4 now. You can do that, all right? Speed it up a little bit. Okay, speed it up a little bit more. If it feels comfortable still. A little bit more. 1, 2. Okay, and that was, what is that, about 176. So now I can flip it back into cut time. There's 104, but we're in cut time. So I'll give myself 1, 2, 1 coming in on beat, which would be beat 2 in cut time, beat 3 in a 4/4. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. Now what you would like to do is add those 2 sections that you worked on, go back into 4/4. Remember the first section was what? And then we also just got done working. Let's put them together. Not too hard, right? You can do that. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And by the way, are you noticing I'm putting in those accents that Charlie did? He throws in these accents. Sometimes they seem kind of random, and then sometimes you think, well, I think he did that on purpose. So it's hard to know what he did in the moment, if it was random or just spontaneous, or if he actually that was premeditated. But I kind of like how it sounds. The accents that I see are on that one particular phrase. The last 2 measures would be beat 1, beat 3, and beat 1. So okay, now speed that phrase. We just kind of sewed those 2 together, right? Speed it up a little bit. So far, so good. Speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Speed it up a little bit more. Get up to about 176. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now let's go to Charlie's tempo at 104. And I'll give myself 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. Woo! That's flying, baby. Okay. Now we have to check out that other phrase that gets into that. So we're at 104. What's the phrase that leads into that? It's at the beginning of that measure. That'd be measure 43. Accent here. Accent there. And I'm going to try to splice in the actual phrase that I'm working on, so that you guys can pause the video. You can actually pause, like you're seeing me now, but you can pause the video on the actual music, and I'll throw it in there. So you can pause it and pause the whole video. You can actually work on it yourself. Unless you already have the transcription, then you can, if you have it in front of you, then you can do it. Okay, so now we would speed that up, like the process on the other ones. Speed it up a little bit more. speed it up a little bit more. Keep in mind I'm still doing those accents. About, what is this, about 176? 1, 2, 3. That a little bit better. Good. And now, woo, get it up to Parker speed, which is blazing fast. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Now, you know what we got to do, right? Now we're going to sew all that together, but we got to work. We're going to start back slow. So this is actually like half time because I got it at 104, but we're going to do it in a 4/4 time. So all phrases. The first phrase that we worked on was, sorry. The next one was, and then we just got done working on, right? We put it all together. 2, 3. Let me do it a little bit better. There we go. So that's nice and slow. Let's speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Speed it up. When I say speed it up, yeah, I'm making it look too easy, right? You're not going to speed it up in a matter of 5 minutes like I'm doing here. I've already got it worked up. When I say speed it up, you're going to be speeding it up over time. In fact, you might want to keep track of your metronome markings on a particular hard phrase like this. So you have this out, and you should have a date and the metronome marking that you're kind of working at. So when I speed it up, it may be a month, it may be 2 months that you're actually working on this phrase, starting slower and then gradually speeding up and getting up to 208 for the quarter note. So that's what I mean. You're not just going to get this piece brand new, or even if you worked on it a little bit, you're not just going to be speeding it up in a matter of the time limit of this tutorial and have it down at 208. If you could have, you already would have, right? Yeah. So let's speed this up a little bit now. 1, 2, 3. Let me get it better. 2. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's get it up to 176. And folks, I think that even if you could play this whole thing at 176, it would still come across pretty decent to the audience. I mean, 176 is still flying. I mean, just the main melody at the beginning, right? 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so that sounds good to me. I mean, that's a good tempo. 176 is pretty fast. So now let's go back to the part that we were working on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in. 1, 2, 3. That's fast, right? Raise your hand if you think that's fast. Raise your hand if you don't think it's fast. Quit fronting, my friend, quit fronting. You know it's fast. Okay, now let's put it up to Charlie Parker speed. And this is like Russian roulette for me. I mean, this is fast. Got it at 104 for the half note, which would be Charlie Parker speed of 208. I may have to do a couple of takes on this one. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Pretty close. See if I can get any better. 1, 2, 1. Okay. I think that was pretty decent. I think the accents could have been a little bit better. But maybe I got it up at Charlie Parker speed. Pretty happy about that. And that's how I got it worked up. Now, if you hit a snag, you can always bring out your secret weapon. And what is that? I'm holding the horn in the right hand, even if to the video, because of how I have the video recorded, it might look like I'm holding it in my left hand, but not. This is actually my right hand. Your secret weapon is to bring out your left hand. I'm going to play like this. You saw me playing like this, right? That's my right hand. What I normally play with. The secret weapon, if you hit a snag or a roadblock where you can't increase the tempo for more, let's say you go a week and the tempo is just stagnant, you're stalled, bring out your secret weapon. That's your left hand. The left hand is using a different hemisphere in your brain. It also causes you to be conscious in the moment. Almost as if I said, hey, bro, I want you to give me your signature on this document real quick. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I want you to sign it with your left hand. Now, if you're a lefty, that's kind of a wash, right? But if you're a righty, and if I want you to sign with your left hand, you're going to go, ooh, wait a minute. I don't sign with my left hand. You're going to have to really think about your signature, and it's not going to come out that good, is it? Same thing here. So you got to really think about it. And if you go through this really slow, it's got to be slow and pound those valves down. Almost eighth notes. Rest. Shake your hand out. Do it again. Slow, methodical, premeditated, precise, baby. And you would do it a couple times slow like that. Then switch it back to your right hand, your normal plain hand. A little faster, not much. Still eighth notes. Slightly faster. And then back to your left hand slow. There you go. So this is actually a real, honest to goodness trumpet lesson that I gave you for jazz. This is a jazz trumpet lesson. I mean, it really was a lesson because we worked on it. It wasn't about me just blowing right through it and have you guys watch me play it. So, and I'll put a link if you want to hear what I really sound like playing this one in a more polished way with the music. I'll put a link and you can listen to how the final product comes out when I'm actually playing it. So anyway, that's my tutorial on the hard part. This is the hardest part in confirmation from a musical standpoint. This is the part that keeps people from, mainly trumpet players, from going through Charlie Parker's confirmation, the entire thing. They go through the front page of it and then they figure, well, okay. And they start doing their jazz. They're scared to do Charlie Parker's confirmation transcription because of the lick that we just worked on. If more people could get that lick down, I have a feeling they would just blow right through his transcription because it's fun the way he did it, and then they would start their jazz ad lib, their jazz improv. It's that one weeder lick. It weeds everybody out, especially us trumpet players. Now you have a strategy. So if you're a professional jazz trumpet player, and basically you're going to have to be a professional jazz trumpet player or an extremely, extremely advanced jazz trumpeter to even be working on this. I mean, at 208. You're not going to be some high school kid that's going to be blowing through this at 2A. That much I can guarantee. Because the celebrity pros can't play it, right? If they could, they would have. So this is for probably talking to someone who makes their living or part of their living playing in a jazz combo. They got their own quartet or trio or whatnot. Maybe they even teach jazz at a university. And they never actually have, stood up on stage and faced an audience and played the entire Parker transcription here. Now you have a strategy, and this strategy is gold. It will work for you. And when I say speed it up, just to remind you, that's not in one session. It might take you a couple of months or more. And then you pull out your secret weapon, the left-hand technique. I'm convinced that sometime in the near future, I'm going to see other players besides myself do the entire Charlie Parker confirmation. Right now, I've looked and I've had other students help me out looking. Is there another trumpet player out there that played the entire Parker transcription on trumpet? I mean, I didn't water it down. I mean, played it just like Parker did. And the feelers that I put out there, it's this, 0. But after this tutorial, if someone's actually looking at it, I have a feeling that in the near future I'm going to see a couple other trumpet players pop up and be able to play from beginning to end Charlie Parker's Jazz Confirmation and not water it down. Play it like Parker did at 208. So I'm Kurt Thompson. Hope you enjoyed this real true trumpet lesson and you follow exactly what I said, and you will get better. You will improve your jazz chops. I'm out for now. I'm Kurt Thompson at TRUMPETSIZZLE.com, and here on YouTube, you're a brass instructor. I'm a professional trumpet player and teacher, and I want to ask you a question. Would you like to learn how to skyrocket your range, improve your endurance, and reduce mouthpiece pressure? At the very least, you should discover that improving range and endurance is a process. It is not one book you're going to read, not one ebook. It's not one lesson you're going to take with a celebrity trumpet player. It is a process that you will have to go through. If you're willing to go through this process, I can almost guarantee that you will get fantastic results on this instrument or any brass instrument. And for right now, I would just like for you to subscribe to my channel. Look down below and click the subscribe link. I would love to have you as a subscriber on my channel, Your Brass Instructor. I'm Kurt Thompson. I'll see you in the next one.